So for this part of the lesson, what you are going to be looking for is the type of evidence that writers use when constructing an argument that would be considered powerful evidence. Okay, so what you have in front of you is a snippet from the article that you have read in reading class, Are Phones Making Us Zombies? It is at page 22, which is in the midst of the article, and there are 3 different headings that you will see here. What I want for you to do is get out some sort of writing utensil. It can be a highlighter, it can be a marker, it can be whatever you want. And I want for you to start reading this piece. And as you find evidence that stopped and made you go, that's a good point, or that made you think, I want for you to underline it. What you are not doing while you are reading this text is trying to understand it. You don't need to write your comments over on the side to annotate. You've already done all of those things in reading class with this piece. You are strictly looking at the type of information or evidence that the writer is using to support the claim that phones are having an impact on our brains and our daily lives. So I'm going to let me get a pen because I didn't prepare that part. Here's what that is going to look like. Okay, so as you start reading, you're going to say warning signs. For you, the risk of developing this kind of obsessive relationship with your phone is higher than it is for an adult because your brain is still developing. So right away, I'm starting to look at that and I'm like, it's interesting to me that the writer chose to use the word you and your, because the power of you and your connects it to an individual person. It makes it no longer about those people. It makes it about me. So I would circle you and your, and I'm not circling on here because I'm going to make copies from this. The parts of your brain that control pleasure and emotion are more developed than the parts that control logic and reasoning. It's giving me some information. This affects your decision making and makes you more vulnerable to the addictive aspects of smartphones. So I would probably circle the word addictive. That word to me is highly negatively connotated. So when they start using words like addiction and addictive in a piece that is about me, because they were talking about you and your, I can start to see the connection of what the writer is trying to do. Here, for example, you might understand that checking your phone while doing your math homework isn't a good idea, but because your brain is hyper-focused on seeking out pleasurable experiences, the lure of your device can overpower everything else. So information here may not stand out to me, but what do we do with these 2 words? For example. They have provided a specific situation that allows for you to make connections, because we've all been doing homework or doing something we're supposed to be doing when our phone beeps, or when we're like, I just wonder if anything's happening on my game, or I wonder who that is. And so we push over to the device. Okay. So things that you might notice that stand out to you, see those examples. You saw, I like the you and your, and then the strong language like addictive, vulnerable, because to be vulnerable can often be kind of scary to someone. If you keep going through here, you'll notice they start using statistics and different percentages. Maybe the types of people they interview will stand out to you, or the situations, because who is this article written for? Is it written for an adult? No, it's written for you. And so what types of information are they using that's specific to the audience they are targeting? Okay, because if they were targeting adults, I would guess that a lot of the examples and pieces of information they have would be different. So your job, again, is to read through this article. I want you to circle, mark, highlight, underline, do something at different places where the writer does something that you're like, that made me stop as a reader and think about the fact that phones are bad for us. Not things you find interesting, not places you connect. I strongly encourage you to do this with somebody else if there's someone else who is finished at the same time and ready to move on as you are. And then after you have finished, I want for you to go back and look at that what did they do? So here, like I said, we have negative connotation. Here, they use the word you and your, because these are all strategies you could use as a writer. Here, they said, for example. Other places, they may use, I don't know, questions or give extreme, absolute examples. Go back to your nonfiction signpost that you talked about in reading class, because that will also help you look for ways that writers work to support a claim in their text. Okay? So not just what did they do in here, but what did they do as a writer? So examples, questions, statistics, examples, etc. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks.